At the beginning of the lockdown, many people were sceptical about the veracity of the pandemic and concerned about the response by the politicians all around the world, and not without reason. There had been such a reaction, so severe, so immediate, or so universal in response to any crisis, and it seemed too many to the spread of the unhumanity of the lack of opposition to the response was so suspicious.
Many more people developed misgivings when the measures began to be felt. The first time they found themselves queuing outside shops, the day the lanes went down on the floors and the screens went up on the counters of those shops confirmed the seriousness of the situation for most, but set alarm bells in the minds of many others, because it appeared for them that the measures were designed to do far more damage to the people subject to do them than they could hope to do to any virus.
When in the past have we seen such rapid change occur, particularly through the political apparatus? How fast did Britain and America respond to Hitler? How fast did the world respond to climate change or the refugee crisis, or any of the countless natural and man-made disasters in the past? To many of us, this clash of sudden action with the usual lethargic reactions of government, not just here but everywhere around the world, shocked us into the realisation that whatever was taking place, it was something quite unprecedented and not at all what we were being told.
Easy in retrospect, after the escalation of this absurdity has reached epic levels to distort our memories. It would be smug now, half the world knows we've been taken for a ride, to claim that we saw through it from the beginning. But we were as scared and uncomfortable as you were, even if for different reasons. Anyway, some bloke in Australia decided he would start a protest, and he decided he'd do it in his local park. And now, every Sunday, 100,000 people around the world in 20 countries in 1,000 parks are getting together, and our numbers are growing. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is one of hundreds of organisations around the world doing something to combat this, and we're coming together in strength.
Don't get the wrong idea, we're far from natural friends. We're the left, we're the right, we're professionals, we're unemployed, we're seasoned campaigners, and we're people who are struggling all alone in 2020, thinking we're the only ones that can see something was wrong. We're atheists and faithful, and we're of all ages and walks of life. We've got one thing in common: we're done with the lies. We're done with watching the mainstream media circuses of parliamentary puppet shows.
The COVID crisis served a lot of purposes for the orchestrators of these changes. The obvious is economical. The failure of your business accelerates the concentration of wealth and power. But more than that, it allowed the suspension of individual rights. It further promoted the intrusion on our lives and privacy and our bodily autonomy. And it psychologically prepared us for the next stages of the plan. A plan which you can read about, a plan which is going on right now. It involves the removal of cash, a universal basic income, a social credit system for individuals and businesses, a perfected network of surveillance and policing, and the consolidation of both wealth and power in the hands of one worldwide organisation, and a lot more. From the beginning of the first lockdown, every possible contingent has been covered. Social distancing, furloughs, lockdowns and masks were devices to prevent communication. The panic caused by the mainstream news throughout this was designed to make people close their eyes and ears to dangerous talk by nutcases who refused to behave. Meanwhile, what the mainstream did report about our actions was alternately belittled and exaggerated, as needed by the agencies who wanted to discredit us. How many people were at the protest? 10 or 20? How many rioted? 300 or 400? In fact, an estimated 2 million protested in London at the height of the lockdown protests. I really think when something of that importance happens in the capital city, the media should tell the people.
All this really, though, is the shock of what it all implies. Even if COVID was a hoax, do not resuscitate notices on treatable patients may not have been. Loneliness, depression, mental illness and suicide really happened. Vaccine-related injury and death seem authentic. Thousands of lost businesses are certainly real, as there are trillions made by a handful of companies who profiteered all along throughout the pandemic. And the lies told by our news services, our health authorities and our governments had to have been in many cases completely deliberate. Who can honestly expect people to be ready at the drop of a hat to give up the faith they've had all their lives in these vital and venerated times? Officers, sorry. What's the implication if everything we trusted are completely full of shit?
Well, at least we're allowed back in the pub again, even if mum and dad won't be coming. See, for some people, this 2-week lockdown still hasn't ended, and it maybe never will. You see, the rights they take, they don't give back to you, they merely lend. We will own nothing and be happy, because who was there to be unhappy in the world that they're creating for us? There's a lot of reasons not to stand up for yourself. You need to keep your job, you need to feed your family, but there must come a time when you realise that in the world the World Economic Forum's created for us, the only people who are going to feed your family will be them.
You might be thinking there is no alternative to the gentrified, sanitised world we've been corralled into, besides anarchy, nomadism, and a return to the Stone Age. But come on, look around you. The world's populated by loving, sane, talented, and brilliant people. And it only takes a handful of these psychopaths to turn us all into nervous wrecks. You take out the nutters and everything just works. And it works easily. So it's time to stop being afraid. We've forgotten how easily we can work together because we've allowed them to create division for far too long. We simply have to stand together and all say one word. No.
No.
No. No. Feel that?